Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showcasing Dragapult EX from the Twilight Masquerade expansion set, but this time we'll be pairing it with Froslass. Dragapult EX of course is a very powerful Pokemon. It has the attack Phantom Dive for 1 fire and 1 psychic energy. It deals 200 damage and then you put 6 damage counters to your opponent's benched Pokemon in any way you like. The damage spread that you deal with Dragapult EX's attack is exactly why it really goes well with this Froslass with the Freezing Shroud ability, which puts 1 damage counter on each Pokemon with an ability from both players between Pokemon checkup, that is after the end of each player's turn. And the only Pokemon that will not be affected by this ability are any Froslass. So if your opponent relies heavily on abilities, you can slowly put those damage counters on their Pokemon with this ability, and then Dragapult EX can just finish off the rest. And since we're spreading so much damage, I thought it would actually be awesome to also include the Panic Mask tool card. If your opponent's attacking Pokemon has 40 HP or less, it will deal no damage to the Pokemon with this mask on, potentially making our Dragapult EX invincible. And Radiant Alakazam is actually super helpful too. It has the Painful Spoons ability, which allows you to move up to 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of their Pokemon. This ability can help you transfer even more damage so that you can lower your opponent's Pokemon even further, ideally where you can lower it down to the 40 HP threshold, enough where you can prevent damage while you have the Panic Mask on. And in this deck, I will be using the Neo Upper Energy A-Spec card. For just a single energy attachment, you can instantly power up Dragapult EX's attack. And I thought Roseanne's backup is really helpful because you can recover the Neo Upper Energy, Panic Mask, and other stuff from your discard pile back to your deck. And as for my other trainer support, Irida will help you set up your Froslass lineup because it lets you search your deck for a water type Pokemon and for 1 item card from your deck. Arven is good for getting an item card from your deck, and also our Panic Mask tool cards. And finally, I also have Professor Turo's Scenario, which can help you remove a heavily damaged Pokemon from play. This is helpful since some of our Pokemon with abilities will also take damage from Froslass. As for the other cards worth noting, I do have 2 copies of Dracloak with the Recon Directive ability. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put 1 of them into your hand and put the other card on the bottom of your deck. This ability will help us with consistency so that we can draw into the cards that we need. I think this build is actually pretty strong, although it's not as consistent as I would like it to be. But do let me know in the comments below what you think would make this deck even stronger. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Dragapult EX with Froslass. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. I'll have to mulligan because I don't have any basic Pokemon in my hand. And we're gonna start with the Dreepy in the active spot. Alright, very good. So our starting hand is pretty good. We got Buddy Buddy Poppin and Irida. And my opponent will get 1 extra card to start their turn. And we're going against Raging Bolt EX. Alright. I'm anticipating a lot of Pokemon with abilities here. So I'm gonna set up my Snorunt, my Froslass lineup. And with this Nest Ball, I'm just gonna grab Rotom B because on our first turn, we really can't use our support trainer card. So I'm just gonna end my turn using Instant Charge to draw 3. But my opponent's Raging Bolt EX has the potential to attack on the first turn going second. As long as they can energize its attack for 1 fighting and 1 lightning energy, they will have to use Professor Sada's Vitality to accelerate an extra energy and possibly attach for turn. And Earthen Vessel can get them exactly the energies they need to energize this Raging Bolt EX. But yeah, Raging Bolt EX has been very popular because of Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. Now that they can accelerate energies from their hand to their Pokemon easily, they can stack those energies. And when Raging Bolt EX attacks, depending on how many energies are discarded, it can deal a ton of damage. And it even has the potential to 1-hit knockout even our Dragapult EX with such a high HP. So I will stall a little bit here so that my opponent does not get 2 prizes. So I'll evolve into Dragapult when it is to my advantage. But my opponent uses Iono, which means I don't think they'll be able to use Professor Sada to accelerate energy, and they end their turn without attacking. Very good. And that Iono actually got us 2 Froslass, so now we can evolve and start damaging all Pokemon with abilities. And with their Pokestop, we actually got Buddy Poffin. So I'll set up a backup Dreepy because on their next turn, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to attack. And then I'll just attach an energy to my bench Dreepy and instant charge one more time. So now my Froslass, the Freezing Shroud ability is taking effect to all Pokemon with abilities, including a Rotom V. So we do have to watch out for that, but at least it's dealing damage to their Ogerpon and also their Squawkabilly EX. The downside to this matchup though is that their Raging Bolt EX receives no damage since it does not have abilities. But this is a good opportunity for us to use the Panic Mask, because if we can attack with Dragapult EX, deal 200 damage to their Raging Bolt, as long as they don't have any HP modifier to increase their HP, we should be able to lower it down to 40 and below, and that's gonna prevent any damage from being dealt to our Dragapult EX as long as we have Panic Mask on. So they will end their turn by attacking with their Raging Bolt, discarding one energy, knocking out our Dreepy. All the while, our Froslass is doing its job, and see what we could do here. We got Psychic Energy, so that is actually pretty awesome. And I can even evolve into a Dragapult EX this turn. I'll just do some recovery with Super Rod, and yeah, with Star Alchemy, I'll have to... Maybe we could get it with Pokestop, actually. Hey, we got it! Alright, cool. So we got Rare Candy, we also got Buddy Poffin to set up another Dreepy. And now we can evolve into Dragapult EX and still be able to use Iono if we need to. But for now, I'm just going to get Panic Mask with our Seal Stone. And again, that's going to prevent their Raging Bolt EX from dealing damage to our Dragapult EX. I'm going to use Iono, maybe disrupt their hand a little bit, see how that goes. And hopefully they don't have anything to retreat this Raging Bolt EX, because if they do, they have enough energy to actually knock out our Dragapult EX. Alright, so I'm going to focus on dealing 40 damage to their other Raging Bolt and just put more to their other Ogerpon so that the damage are evenly distributed. So what my opponent needs to do here is actually retreat. If they don't have Professor Status Vitality and they can't accelerate energy, I think we're okay. Because they need to attach for turn to manually retreat their Raging Bolt unless they have any switch card or anything like that. And their other Raging Bolt can still attack and knock out our Dragapult EX. Because since it still has a lot of HP, our Panic Mask will not work on that benched Raging Bolt EX. But at least this one in the active, we're preventing it from attacking, but they're getting their energies, man. They are getting their energies, so as long as they have one more energy to attach or anything to switch out this Raging Bolt, they can attack and knock us out. But it all depends on what my opponent decides to do as well. Okay, they're going to use Professor Status Vitality, accelerate one more energy to their active, and that's it. They could retreat it. Oh no, they have Prime Catcher. Alright, that's even better. But you know what? That's actually good for us. Because that preserves our Dragapult EX alive. They can get 2 prizes here. But what we're going to try and do is spread damage to all of our other opponents' Pokemon on their bench. Maybe get some multiple knockouts in the next few turns. So they will get a knockout against our Rotom V. But that puts this Raging Bolt EX to a knockout range since we did put that initial 40 damage counters to it. So we can knock it out by attacking with Dragapult EX. With this Arven, I'm going to get Rare Candy and another Panic Mask. We can evolve into another Dragapult EX if we need to. We can discard this with Earthen Vessel to get Fire Energies, because that's what we need to fully energize another Dragapult. So I'm going to go ahead and Do that. And put Panic Mask here. Could even use Counter Catcher, but I don't think... Could take a knockout here, maybe finish off their other Raging Bolt. That's gonna get us 4 prizes. And then just let Froslass do its thing, right? So, I'll put 4 damage counters here, and... I could probably just put it here. So in just a few more turns, that Squawkabilly EX will get knocked out. So we got 4 prizes. Alright, very good. And another Froslass. Hey, let's go. So 2 damage counters at the end of their turn, 2 more damage. And we only need 2 more prizes to win this game, actually. So, even if they end up knocking out our Dragapult EX in the active, if they cannot get that Squawkabilly EX out of play, our Froslass will just do its thing and with its ability, knock out their Squawkabilly EX. Because at the end of this turn, it's going to deal 2 more damage counters, and then we just pass, and it will just get knocked out. And that is one of the downside to a straightforward Raging Bolt EX build, right? It's just, it is exactly, it just does what it's intended to do, right? Just knock out whatever gets in their way. It's a it's a very linear attacker. Let's just put it that way. Oh, dude, they have Lost Vacuum though, and removing the Panic Mask could be very... Alright. So they're looking to knock out our active Dragapult EX. And... you know what? It doesn't really matter. Like I said, Froslass will just... Froslass will just do its thing. And we will just win this game. Yeah, so if we after we pass here, we'll just win the game. That's it. That's it. We could attack. I mean, you know... Yeah, okay. There it is. My opponent concedes. Good game. Alright, on to our next match. We will be going first in this matchup. And why do we always mulligan? We have a lot of basic Pokemon in this deck. I don't understand. Alright, we're going to start this one with a Snorunt in the active spot. But because of our mulligan, my opponent will also get 1 extra card to start their turn. And my opponent will start with a Comfey in the active spot. Alright. Looks like we're dealing with some type of a Lost Zone mechanic, which is very versatile, so it's really hard to tell what they're using. And because of that, I will need to set up Rotom V with this Ultra Ball. At least get us started by drawing 3 cards with its Instant Charge ability. Because Lost Zone mechanics, most likely they have Cramorant, and it can attack for 0 damage as long as they have 4 cards in their Lost Zone. And since they're going second, they can use their Trainer Support card, Color's Experiment. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 2 in the Lost Zone, and put the other 3 in your hand. And they have Buddy Buddy Poffin. Another Comfey goes on their bench. And a Nest Ball brings out their Cramorant. There it is. Cramorant has the Lost Provisions ability. If you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you can attack. You can ignore the attack cost. So you can attack with Spit Innocently for free, basically. And that ability actually works well with any type of tool cards that allows you to use an attack. So Cramorant is a very, very strong single prize attacker. So now with 3 cards in their Lost Zone, they just needed this 1, and they have a switch card, and Cramorant will be able to attack, and they can knock out our Snorunt, getting their first prize. So Spit Innocently deals 110 damage. Alright, so Rotom V at least can survive 1 attack from Cramorant. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have any other strong attackers, but I'm just going to use Super Rod, recover those 2, and I'm going to use Iono. Hopefully it disrupts my opponent's hand a little bit. And that actually got us 2 other basic Pokemon to set up, which is really nice. And I'm just going to have my turn with Instant Charge again. At least we have 1 Drapey and 1 Snorunt. And Can evolve with Froslass next turn. We can even get Rare Candy to evolve into a Dragapult, but with no energies, we actually need to use maybe Earthen Vessel to get the Neo Upper Energy A-Spec card so that we can attach just one energy and start attacking with a Dragapult. But with that, my opponent will continue to use their flower selecting ability. So Comfey can look at the top 2 cards of their deck. It's kind of like a colorless experiment, but in a form of an ability. And only 2 cards. So one goes into the Lost Zone, one goes into their hand. And they're going to continue to attack with Cramorant. Yes, Spit Innocently. Yeah. Thankfully, our Rotom V survives, but now it is within knockout range. They can get 2 prizes for that. For now, I'm just gonna use Arven, I think. Get Forest Seal Stone and a Rare Candy. I could evolve into Dragapult, but I think I'm gonna go for Buddy Buddy Poffin. It's really, we're in a dangerous situation here that if my opponent knocks out our Dreepy and we don't have any backup, we're not gonna be able to attack with Dragapult at all. So since we have Dracloak, we can now use Recon Directive, and we got access to a Rare Candy, so we can even evolve into a Dragapult EX maybe next turn. So with Earthen Vessel, we got 2 different types of energies. I'm going to retreat Rotom V, discarding this Fire Energy, keeping it safe, and we're gonna sacrifice our Dreepy basically, and we're gonna use our opponent's Pokestop that actually discarded a Dragapult EX, which is, at least we have a few more copies in our deck, hopefully. And we can use Ultra Ball next turn. I could get another Froslass, but our Rotom V is also in danger if we do evolve. So if my opponent has boss orders, I might as well just use this Forest Seal Stone, and I can just grab Neo Upper Energy so that we can attack with Dragapult EX next turn. So that's my setup, and I'm just gonna instant charge to end my turn. Hopefully my opponent does not have an Iono, because that's gonna mess up our setup tremendously. So with that, at least we have 1 Froslass going, and my opponent now has 5 cards in their Lost Zone. They just need 2 more, and they can start using Mirage Gate item card, and that allows them to accelerate energies to their Pokemon. 2 different types of energies from their deck, and that Radiant Greninja is looking pretty dangerous, because if they have water energies, they can accelerate those energies. Yeah, they do have water energy, so they can target multiple Pokemon and take multiple prizes by doing that. So with the Pokestop, they actually got Prime Catcher, and that can allow them to get a Rotom V in the active and knock it out with their Cramorant still. They have a switch. Use Flower Selecting. And I'm pretty sure they're just gonna use Prime Catcher to put Cramorant in the active and knock out our Rotom V. Although they could use Mirage Gate and use Radiant Greninja. Yeah, there's the Prime Catcher. Yeah, they're taking advantage of it. Although if they just knock out Rotom V, they will still get 2 prizes for it. No, they're gonna target Dracloak. Okay, well, they knew that the evolution was imminent, so they had to take care of that. But thankfully, we had a backup Dreepy, and that's why setting up those basic is very important. Since we have Neo Upper Energy, we can actually take advantage of this now. We can take a knockout against Cramorant, avenge our fellow Dreepies, and Snorunt, of course. And with Counter Catcher, I'm just gonna target this Radiant Greninja, because this is a pretty dangerous attacker as well, because it can hit for multiple targets. But as long as we can set up our Froslass, the other Pokemon with lower HP will be taken care of. So with that, we got our Dragapult EX And with Rare Candy, we can now evolve. And I'm just going to use Ultra Ball to get another Froslass. And I'm just going to make sure how much energy we have left. We have 2 Psychic and 1 Fire energy. So we can set up at least one more attacker from Dragapult EX. And then I'm going to use Iono. Hopefully disrupt my opponent's hand here. Putting it down to 4. And we got Panic Mask. Hey, that could help us out actually. Prevent any attack damage from being done to our Dragapult EX. And with this Nest Ball, we can set up another Snorunt. And I'm going to use our Collapse Stadium. That way I can remove Rotom V, the liability that can get my opponent 2 prizes. And we're just going to attack with Dragapult EX. And it has 40. I think I'll just put all of it in Cramorant. Why not? So we'll take a knockout against the Radiant Greninja. We got 1 prize for that. Very nice. Professor Turo's scenario is great too for removing our Dragapult EX if we need to retreat with it. But now we have 2 Froslass with the Freezing Shroud ability, now putting 2 damage counters to all Pokemon with abilities. And thankfully, we don't have Rotom V anymore. And I'm surprised they put Blood Moon Ursaluna on their Lost Zone. Now it's not accessible to them, which could be a great late game attacker. It has an ability that reduces its attack cost by 1 colorless for each prize your opponent has taken. So if I only have 1 prize left, they can attack with Ursaluna for 0 energy. But they also have Roaring Moon. Alright, this is very, very dangerous. Because our Panic Mask, I don't think it works. It's not gonna defend us against Roaring Moon's instant knockout attack. So we have to plan this out quite carefully. But again, another Pokemon in their Lost Zone, Iron Hands EX, that can net them 2 prizes if they knock out one of our single prize Pokemon. And they're gonna focus their attack using Sableye. My opponent has been very aggressive in this matchup. And they're gonna focus on our Froslass, one of our Froslass, knocking it out. And 3 on our other Froslass. 12 damage counters by the Sableye. And at least we took out 1, right? We took out their Cramorant finally. That thing lived on for a lot of turns, guys. But anyways, I think we are good. We can attack with Dragapult EX now. We can probably spread our damage counters, but I'm really scared of their Roaring Moon. So I'm just gonna energize this Dreepy for now. And then I'm gonna focus my attack on this Roaring Moon EX. So Phantom Dive should deal 200 damage. And with 1 damage counters between checkup, we should be able to knock out at least 1, right? So that's 6, and then we can put total of 6 and 1 on Sableye. So at the end of our turn, Froslass takes effect, and we take 2 prizes for knocking out 2 of their Comfeys. And now this Roaring Moon it cannot instant knock us out, because if they use that, they also deal 200 damage to themselves. So if they do that, there's like a double knockout, and we will take our last 2 prizes to win the game. So they can't instant knock out our Dragapult EX basically. But yeah, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon attached by opponent's attack. Yeah, so it does not prevent effects of attack, but it prevents attack damage. So if they have another Dark Energy, they can try and attack with this Roaring Moon, discard the Stadium, but it's not gonna damage us because of Panic Mask. But they can instant knock us out, but because it deals damage to themselves, that will also damage their Roaring Moon, knocking it out. So I think they're just going to hard retreat here. With such limited energies, they're gonna use Lost Mine. They can knock out 2 of our Pokemon, but we've done enough damage, and with Dragapult EX and that Roaring Moon with such little HP, we can just knock it out this turn. Yeah, there it is. Froslass did his job, taking multiple knockouts, and with this to attack. We even cleared out our opponent's board completely, and we get our last 2 prizes to win us the game. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. We're going to start with another Snorunt in the active spot, and we will be going first. I like going first with this build, by the way, because we need to evolve into our stage 1s and stage 2s, so we can set up our basic in the very beginning of the game. Going first is optimal, I think, if you can set up your basics. But as of right now, we can't even set up our basics, so we're gonna go just like our last game, and with the Ultra Ball, get Rotom V, and I'll just attach 1 energy, getting this Snorunt ready to retreat, and we're just gonna draw 3 cards with instant charge, ending our turn, and that got us Dreepy at least, and we can evolve into Froslass next turn. Okay, so my opponent has Ogerpon EX, the blue one, and this one can actually hit the bench, so we might have to use our Manaphy in this matchup, but it really depends on how fast my opponent can set up their Baxcalibur to accelerate those energies, and they're gonna attack for 20. So the first attack of this Ogerpon actually traps our Pokemon in the active, and we cannot retreat it. So I'll have to set up Manaphy. Yeah, I'll prioritize Manaphy because we can lose all of our Pokemon if we don't. And like I said, we can't retreat it, but if we evolve into Froslass, I think it removes that that condition, right? Yeah, it does. Alright, cool. Thankfully, we got that Froslass. I'll put the Panic Mask on Dreepy, and I'm just gonna instant charge. We're not gonna die from this Ogerpon anyways, so we should be safe for another turn or 2. Hopefully, they don't have Chien Pao EX, but I'm pretty sure they do. Because Baxcalibur, why not put in a Chien Pao that can one-hit knock out any Pokemon in the game, right? Alright, Superior Energy Retrieval gets them 2 energies from their discard pile. Now they can attack with this Ogerpon, 100 damage. I guess you can choose to discard it. If you don't, you only hit for 100 damage. Alright. So we survived another turn. We got an Arven. So with Arven, I can actually evolve into a Dragapult EX. But before my Rotom V dies, I could also use my Forest Seal Stone right away. Yeah. Anyways, let's see what we could do here. I can't attach to Rotom to retreat and then still be able to attack with a Dragapult. So at least I can prevent it from getting knocked out at least. So at least we can retreat. Thankfully, my opponent didn't trap us. So with this Ultra Ball, I'm just going to... yeah, this TM Devolution could be very useful. I'll just discard those 2. I can recover that energy, get a Dragapult, use Rare Candy, evolve, and then I'm just going to... I guess attacking. I don't know if attacking is going to be useful. Yeah, let me use Star Alchemy now before my opponent knocks me out. So I'll get a basic... Oh no, I was supposed to get fire. Oh, I'm such a dummy. Oh my goodness. No. I was supposed to get fire energy. Oh man, misclick. All right. Anyways, I'm sure you guys make those mistakes as well, but if you're in a tournament, make sure you don't make that mistake. Oh my, okay. Well, my opponent attacks for 100 damage. That's fine. At least 1 Froslass is doing its job. We got boss orders. Thankfully, we can use Irida to get us Earthen Vessel, and then we can even grab another Snorunt. So, oh man, thankfully we have Earthen Vessel in this deck, which is great for grabbing us those energies. But I might have to use Super Rod because we have 3 fire energies in the discard pile, and if we don't have any while using Earthen Vessel, we will have wasted it. Yeah, there it is. We didn't have any more fire energies. Thankfully, again, sequencing is really important in this in this game, guys. Make sure you do what you need to do first before moving on, making sure that you're able to set up properly. So now we were able to knock out at least one of their Pokemon and dealing 200 damage to their Ogerpon. And with Panic Mask, they should not be able to deal any damage to our Dragapult EX anymore. So we're looking good. And with boss orders, we're also looking pretty good here. Even if they put any other attackers, we should be able to just snipe it, or at least bring it up to the active spot and focus our attack to that Pokemon. And that Baxcalibur is going to be knocked out pretty soon. Especially we can evolve into Froslass next turn. We're going to be dealing 2 damage counters every Pokemon checkup. But my opponent will just use Torrential Pump that shuffles all the energies attached to this Ogerpon, targeting 2 Pokemon. However, with the Panic Mask and also Manaphy protecting our bench, we negated those attacks, which is pretty awesome. So now, our Manaphy is gonna die soon, but see what we can do here. I'll get another Dreepy. We have to keep our attackers constant here. Put a Panic Mask there, and we can Phantom Dive, reducing this Chien Pao EX's HP, and by doing so, it's not gonna be able to damage our Dragapult EX, despite its one-hit knockout potential. And I'll focus on their Radiant Greninja, so we did get a knockout on their Ogerpon, getting us 2 prizes. Froslass will deal those 2 damage counters to Chien Pao EX and Radiant Greninja, and that's gonna knock both of them out, and that's gonna get us our last 3 prizes. Alright, moving on to our next match. We're gonna start this one with a Dreepy in the active spot. And my opponent will start with the Monkey Dory in the active. Alright, so we know they have an ability user, so I'm gonna set up 2 of my Snoruns on my bench, and there's really not much I could set up here, so I'm just gonna end my turn. Collapse Stadium, we're gonna reserve that just in case. Limiting our opponent's bench is also very useful. That's why Collapse Stadium is really great, but also for removing any liability that we may have. So for now, my opponent will use Ultra Ball, and they're gonna grab a Rotom V. Alright. And they're gonna use Iono. Okay, that actually is beneficial for both of us, I guess. But that got us another Dreepy, which is really awesome, and Buddy Buddy Poffin. And since we have Dragapult EX... Hey, okay, alright, cool. So, my opponent draws 3, they end their turn. We can set up another Dreepy. I can use Arven to... Let's see here, get a rare candy. We can evolve into Dragapult, but... I could set up a Rotom V of my own and be able to use Forest Seal Stone. And then... attach an energy. Use Buddy Buddy Poffin to get another Snorunt. Star Alchemy. And then I'm just gonna use Dracloak to evolve, right? My opponent doesn't have an attacker yet, so I hope that they don't get a knockout on their next turn. So we got our Fire Energy, which is really awesome. Just gonna end my turn with Instant Charge. Just gonna take advantage of my opponent's slow setup for the meantime, but they have Fire Energy, so this could be anything. But next turn, we can attach a Fire Energy, and then we can evolve into Dragapult EX, start attacking. And with another Buddy Buddy Poffin, my opponent will be able to set up 2 more basic Pokemon on their bench. And it's a Dragapult. This is the Dragapult Charizard combo that I've been seeing a lot of it lately. It's actually a really good combination. Maybe I'll try it out and also showcase it in this channel. But I usually just let the competitors do that. But yeah, it's a really great combo. Not only does Charizard EX deal a lot of damage late game, it also has an ability that can accelerate Fire Energies, and You can easily power up your Dragapult EX that way. But for now, my opponent cannot evolve into anything yet, so we will just continue to set up our Dragapult EX. So Recon Directive, of course, before evolving. We got Panic Mask. We can put the Fire Energy, and then I can Iono. With those 10 cards in their hand, it's pretty dangerous to just have them laying there. So Iono is gonna help us to disrupt that. We got another Dracloak, so Recon Directive can help us get an Arven. And check out our prizes with the Heavy Ball, but nothing too important. So what I'm gonna do here is just use Phantom Dive and knock out this Dreepy, and I'm just gonna take out one of their Pidgeys and one damage counter to their Rotom V. So with that, we get 2 prizes. That does increase my opponent's damage output if they end up evolving into Charizard EX. However, it's not gonna be enough to knock out our Dragapult EX, thankfully. And then all we have to do is work on reducing my opponent's Charizard EX HP so that they cannot damage our Dragapult EX while it has Panic Mask on. One thing they could do though is Monkey Dory. It could be a very dangerous support because even if we reduce their Charizard EX's HP down to 40 or less without knocking it out, they can move damage counters with Monkey Dory and put it where it can still attack and damage our Dragapult with the Panic Mask. So that's a very dangerous scenario, but they will have to attach a Dark Energy to their Monkey Dory. And with limited amount of cards in their hand, that could prove to be more difficult than it looks, right? But now that they have Pidgeot EX, they can just grab whatever they want from their deck. And also, the Forest Seal Stone allows them to search for another card. Now they can set up their Charizard EX, accelerating those energies to their Charizard. Now they can retreat this Pidgeot EX because it has 0 retreat cost. And that Dark Energy is right there on Monkey Dory, transferring those damage counters from one of their Pokemon to one of ours. So yeah, that was a perfect setup right there. Let's go ahead and use Recon Directive. We got another Dragapult EX, so I can evolve this so that we don't take damage from our Froslass. And I'm gonna start to energize it so that next turn, even if they knock out my Dragapult EX in the active, we have another attacker. But I can actually take advantage of this boss orders, but I'm gonna focus on Froslass. Because slowly but surely, as long as we're dealing these damage counters, Monkey Dory is not gonna heal all of their Pokemon. They can only transfer 1 or up to 3 damage counters from one of their Pokemon. So I'm just gonna focus on 3 Froslass, and then that's actually gonna damage their Charizard EX, right? Because it has an ability. So I'm gonna Phantom Dive, deal 200 to this Charizard EX, and then I'm gonna put all damage counters to Pidgeot EX. So now we're dealing 3 damage counters to all Pokemon with abilities, right? Unfortunately, the Panic Mask is not taking effect against this Charizard EX because it still has a lot of HP. But it's gonna get there, right? Thankfully, we have boss orders. I can concentrate on targeting one of their bench Pokemon, and then Froslass can just take care of this Charizard EX. And when we attack with Dragapult EX, the 6 damage counters, we could even knock out this Charizard EX. So we have a lot. We have a really great setup here. 2 Dragapult EX and 3 Froslass. This is basically one of the most perfect setup that you could have. Once we lose Rotom V, you can even put Radiant Alakazam in play, move damage counters from one of their Pokemon to another one. But no, my opponent will Iono. It's like that's gonna mess up our access to boss orders. But that did get us another Panic Mask, so that's good. We did lose the access to Psychic Energy, which could prove to be our downfall here. I could use Devolution though, So if we use Devolution, that's going to take out their Pidgeot EX and this Charizard. We're only getting 2 prizes. However, that should be enough to slow them down a little bit because they don't have any other attackers set up on their board. And they also have Radiant Alakazam to move damage from one of our Pokemon to another, but it's not gonna do much good because we're gonna take out both of their Stage 2 Pokemon right there. Alright, very good. And Froslass is just gonna continue. I could take out their Charizard EX. I'm tempted. But by eliminating Pidgeot EX, I think it's a better option. I'm gonna use Turo to remove Rotom V. That way we can survive Froslass. And then I think I'm gonna use Devolution here. And yeah, I'm gonna hold off on Rotom V. And I'm just gonna use Devolution to devolve their Charizard and Pidgeot EX. That will take out their Charmander and Pidgey. That gets us 2 prizes. And now my opponent is going to be in a very difficult position because now, even with just 1 energy, we can deal 70 damage and we can easily knock out their Pokemon. And Froslass even takes out their Monkey Dory, getting us 1 more prize. And there it is. Froslass is insane. It is insane. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, if we attack with Jet Headbutt, we can take out this Radiant Alakazam, or even if they move that Rotom V in the active, we can hit for 7, and then Froslass will do the rest, take it out, and they're gonna set up Charmander. Even if they put Charmander in the active, we can knock it out with 70 damage with Dragapult EX. They're going to use Unfair Stamp. Got Dreepy. That's okay. Wait, they're also using Froslass. They have a Snorunt. Okay, that's a very okay. But we're more focused on Dragapult EX here. We don't have any Charizard EX. So yeah, anything they put in the active, even if they leave this Radiant Alakazam, we will win this one. Unless they have any other way to get our Froslass in the active, we will need an energy to retreat it, if that's the case, right? Okay, they're gonna devolve Dragapult EX. Well, we can re-evolve our Froslass, right? They concede. All right, I will take it. Good game. All right, moving on to our final match. We are gonna start this one with a Rotom V in the active spot, and my opponent also has Monkey Dory in this build. All right, thankfully we got Buddy Poffin. We can set up Dreepy and a Snorunt. I'll attach 1 energy to Dreepy, and I'm gonna instant charge, draw 3. Alright, cool. We got Froslass, we can evolve that. Another Buddy Poffin. It's always great if you can set up multiple basic Pokemon on your bench. Preferably 2 lineup of Dragapult EX and as much Froslass as you can. Of course, it really depends on your matchup because there are decks that really doesn't use a lot of abilities, so you might want to hold off on using Froslass. But my opponent has Tatsugiri. It has an ability that looks at the top 7 cards of the deck, I think, and can get a support card. Attract customers, right? And then they can get a supporter, trainer card, and put that in their hand. So they got an Arvin. You're gonna use that, and yeah, they have Ralts on their bench. This could be a Gardevoir EX build, although you could use Gardevoir EX in a lot of builds, right? As long as you focus on Psychic type attackers. And there's more Ralts going onto their bench with Buddy Poffin. They're just gonna end their turn. All right, very good. So now I could set up Froslass. And then I'll just get 2 more Snorunts on my bench. So you gotta make sure also that you have the Froslass you can evolve. Otherwise, you're just gonna be filling up your bench. So with Dracloak, we got Buddy Buddy Poffin. I'll get Dreepy set up on my bench. And I could retreat Rotom V to this Dreepy for now. And then I'm gonna instant charge. I need to get my hands on the Forest Seal Stone. And then, I mean, I could evolve into Dragapult EX already. I just need another energy. So far we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We can use Ultra Ball to evolve into another Dracloak. But my opponent will use TM Evolution using Tatsugiri. I mean, they haven't set up their Curlius just yet, just one. And on our next turn, being able to evolve into more Froslass, we're gonna spread more damage to their Pokemon. So with the TM Evolution, they will now evolve 2 more Curlius. And now we have more Pokemon that we can actually spread damage to. Very nice. That's Recon Directive. We got an Arvenade. That's perfect. It's actually what I wanted. Because I need to grab Earthen Vessel and Forest Seal Stone. Exactly what I need. And I can evolve into Dragapult EX now. And we can use this rescue board to retreat our Dreepy to our Dragapult EX. Put this Panic Mask, evolve into another Froslass, and let's go ahead and use Earthen Vessel. I have Palpad, so I could just get this Rosan's back up again, and I'll get Psychic Energies. I'll attach 1 to my active, and then I'll discard these 2 and get another Froslass. So now we have 3 Froslass set up on our board, and slowly but surely it's gonna take down all of the HP from all of their Curlius. Let's go ahead and use Phantom Dive. Knock out this Tatsugiri, and they have 70 HP, minus 3, so we can put 4? 90. I could just take out this Monkey Dory. Yeah, let's just take out this Monkey Dory. I really don't like I don't like Monkey Dory. So we got 1 prize. We got Neo Opera Energy. That's insane. All right, cool. Monkey Dory is evil. Because if they have Dark Energy, they could just keep putting those damage counters from their Pokemon and giving it to us. And I don't like that. We got an Irida from that knockout. Thanks to our Froslass putting those damage counters to Monkey Dory, we were able to knock it out. And if they don't evolve into anything here, we could just knock out everybody with Froslass and Dragapult's damage spread. So they will evolve into Gardevoir EX in the active spot. They have 5 energies in their discard pile. And they're going to grab Unfair Stamp with Arven. Okay. Our setup is pretty much done. We got Professor Turo's scenario. And you can even use that to get Rotom V out of there. But yeah, we're looking great. If we damage this Gardevoir EX, that's 240. And if they attach energies from their discard pile onto it, that's going to add more damage to 260. That's going to give them still 50 HP, so they can still attack with it. But with the damage counters... No, actually with the damage counters of Froslass at the end of our attack, it's going to add more damage to their Gardevoir EX, and that's going to prevent them from even touching our Dragapult EX with the Panic Mask. They can attack here, fine. Deal 190, but we're going to survive an attack. But no, they're going to retreat, hard retreat, and they're going to attach energies to this Cresselia, and that decreases the damage counters on the 4 Pokemon that they have with damage counters, and then transfer that to our Pokemon. So they're hitting for 2, 4, 6, 8 damage counters, They could take out our Dreepy, I suppose. But they're not taking out our Froslass. Unless they get another Pokemon. And I think that's what they're going to do with Ultra Ball. They're probably going to grab another Pokemon. They're going to grab Monkey Dory. So with the energies that they have in their discard pile, they attach 1 energy with Gardevoir, putting damage counters, 2 damage counters. And now they can use Cresselia to deal 100 damage. Or 100 damage or 10 damage counters to one of our Froslass, knocking it out. So at least now, I could knock out this Cresselia. We still have Star Alchemy, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it to boss orders this Gardevoir EX. And this is gonna help us to clear out their board a lot easier, right? So with that additional damage that they did last turn to retreat, and with now with that Radiant Greninja, this is crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and use Painful Spoons to transfer these damage to their Gardevoir EX. And I'm gonna Phantom Dive. And at the end of our turn, we're gonna knock out 3 of their Pokemon, and we're gonna take all prizes. So with enough damage counters, I'll just spread them out like this. All right, 300. Freezing Shroud deals damage to their Gardevoir EX and their 2 Curlias. And that's gonna get us 4 prizes to win us the game. This combo is insane. Good game. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.